Hi, welcome. Today we continue with business analytics. Yesterday we were busy looking at conditional formatting. Today we're going to look at some sales data. Now what we want to find out from this sales data, we have to run some frequencies. So to do this, we're going to use different methods. We'll use the formula and we'll also use pivot tables to do this. So let us just look at our data here. We've got the time, the site, the product, the type. So this data is all about a product which is being sold through a particular website. So you've got Amazon, you've got eBay, and different types of websites. So from here, we've got different quantities which are moving through those websites. So what we want to find out is this. Which website has the most sales, or which website has got the highest frequency of sales. Then from there we'll be able to understand which platform are sales taking place the most. Okay, so let us look at our data a bit here. So let's check out how many rows of data we have. Control down arrow. So we've got about 26,526 rows of data. Control up arrow. We're back up there. So for us to do this, we're going to use first pivot tables and see how we can work around this. So for pivot tables, the shortcut key is Alt NV. Okay, Alt NV quickly brings up your pivot table. As I explained earlier on in our previous videos, that when you're dealing with pivot tables, you just click in the data, and as long as the data around the data there is an empty, the cells are empty, Excel would be able to pick it up. Okay, so in this case it has picked up our data. Now by default it says a new sheet. So in this case we'll go with a new sheet because we're dealing with quite a large sum of data here. So the new sheet, we go ahead and say click OK. A new sheet is created. Then we can even give it a name if we wish to. So our interest is to find out how much sales are happening, what's the frequency of the sales are happening through that website. So what we'll do is that we'll drag the website into our rows, and immediately what happens here is this. Your data, your unique data is summarized just like that when you do that. Okay, all your unique data is summarized, and now we want to find out how many. So here we have a count. Okay, so it's giving us a count for all the transactions that have taken place through Amazon, through Corrado, and you look at eBay and boomerang.com. Okay, so these are the cells, and it arranges them in their alphabetical order. Okay, so we also want to have a percentage distribution for this data. Okay, so to have a percentage distribution, we'll still drag the same website under values. Then we'll be able to see here that we have a count by default, but we want to change this into a percentage. So to change this, you right click on the data, then you go to summarize by column total. So it will give us that the highest percentage, which was through Amazon, is about 43 point something. Okay, so we want this to be more defining. When you're dealing with analysis, your variables must be well defined. So we don't want row label, but we want it to carry a more defined. So we go to design, under layout we can take I kind of like show outline. I like it because it clears out the grid lines inside the data. Okay, so now here what we have is the website, and we have the column of the count of the of the websites. So this is the number of times that the transactions have taken place, and this is the percentage distribution. Okay, now we have done this using pivot tables. Now we can do this using formulas, and the way we can do this is, let's do this. We'll put our data here. So how we're going to do it is that we want to come up with unique values for where is that, our cells. So we want to come up with the unique values, and for you to do that, what you have to do is, let's go back to our sheet here. So what we want to do is to come up with unique values. To do that, we'll go to data, then under filter there you have the part which says advanced. Okay, under advanced, what we want is the list range. So our list range here, if you click on this ellipsis, it can help you to go to the data that you're dealing with, and we can pick up our data from here. So since we want website to be included, we can pick it up from website, then Control Shift down arrow to pick up all the data. Then we can go back to our data. The criteria, we are not so much interested in the criteria range, but we're interested in the unique records. Okay, so we want unique records only. Then our location that we want the location where we are here, copy to another location, which means we want it to come to this location here. Then we can say OK. Alright, so now we have unique records. Now the next thing that we want is to do a count of websites. So for a count of websites, I'll just be lazy here. I'll copy this, then paste it here. That will be our title, the count of websites. I was supposed to change this, okay, so that it becomes more definitive. Okay, so now what we want to do here is to be able to have a count of how many transactions happened through Amazon. So to do this, we use a formula which is Countifs. Countifs. I usually use Countifs because it has more power. The reason why is that you're able to do multiple criterias with it. Alright, so what do we want to count ifs? Right now we want to find first the criteria range. Our criteria range is over here. Okay, so let's Control Home to get back up. Then the data that we want is this data here. Control Shift down arrow, it picks up that data. Then we want to lock our data by pressing F4. The data has been locked. Okay, then comma. Let's go back to our data. So if you can see that we have this here, which is showing us the formula, and now it's saying what is the criteria. So our criteria is over to the cells here. Let's go back to the cells, so to the sheet 1. So here it's already been shifted into the sheet mode. So what we want now is to pick up to say we want to use this criteria here. Okay, then from there we can close, then press enter. Then it will give us the total transactions which took place. Then we can drag this down to find out for all the other sites. Okay, so now we now know the total transactions for each. Now the next thing that we want to do is to find out the percentage or the frequency percentage. So we'll say frequency percentage distribution, frequency percent distribution. All right, so now for us to find out the percentage frequency distribution, what we have to do is what we'll do is this. Let's first come up with a total here. So to find the total there, we just say out equals, it will quickly pick the data there. Then the next thing that we want to do is to come here and say equals. So to find the percentage, what we'll do is to say this divided by the total. Then we log the total by pressing F4. So if you press enter there, it will give us the percentage. Right now you're seeing this because it's not formatted. Okay, so we drag down just to have the percentages. Then we change this to we change the data format to, say, control 1. We change the data format to percentage. Where is our percentage? There. Decimal places, we'll leave it at 2. Then say okay. So this is our percentage distribution. Then here what we'll do is that we'll copy this, we'll copy the format to that. Okay, then here where we're dealing with formulas, what we'll do is that here what we'll do is that we'll give it a green, just to, I usually love to give it a particular green. Let's check out. Okay, probably I can give it that green because I want it to be shown that we're dealing with formulas in there. Then here we'll just drag down to get the 100%. Then we'll highlight this in order to get the border. So we can quickly use this border here, all round border. Okay, then below here I can give it a bold, control B, it will give it boldness. Okay, so we've done some formatting to it, and this is how you can be able to use the pivot table, and you can also use the formulas to do this. Okay, so if you've got any question, any challenge with this, feel free to get in touch and we'll be more than glad to assist.